Hi and welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I'm doing a long-term review and I'm going to give my sort of final thoughts on the Seiko SKX, and I've got the 009 model here. It's just the K version, but with the obviously the Pepsi bezel. And I've got it on the strap that I'm going to keep it on now. I've worn it a hell of a lot, and I'm just going to go through my sort of pros and cons of this watch. I'm going to start with the negatives about this watch first, and one is exclusivity. And people are a bit, worried about these watches, that when they buy them, everyone's got one, and it's just not true. I work in a building with about, 4,500 people in it. I see lots of people with my work, my daily life. Because of the work that I do, I interact with lots and lots of different people, from law enforcement to people at football clubs and all different things, retail outlets, shops, businesses. I can hand on heart, in the 10 years I've been working in my current job, say I have never seen anyone else wearing this watch. And then the chances of seeing anyone wearing it on this strap, it's very remote. So don't buy this, or don't worry about, thinking, if I get this, everyone's got them, because, we're part of the watch community, and especially online, you do kind of get that sense that everyone's got one. And most watch collectors, tend to have something like this in their collection. But at the end of the day, you don't see everyone and his dog wearing an SKX. So that's kind of the negative. The other negative for this watch, which I see quite a lot, is the fact that it's not hacking and it's not hand winding. So what that means is, once it's stopped, you need to basically give it a little shake to get it going, and then wear it to keep it going. And you've got to obviously set the time and the date, and you can't synchronise the second hand because it doesn't stop when you pull the crown out. But at the end of the day, how many people need to do that? I certainly don't, and I don't know anyone that does. If you're in a job that you require to synchronise your second hand or something, you're not going to be using this watch, so it doesn't matter. So to me, it's not a problem. I quite like the fact that, after a couple of days this stops. If I go to wear it and it's stopped, I just set the date, set the time, give it a little shake, stick it on the wrist, and away you go. And then it just keeps great time. It looks fantastic. The loom is brilliant on it. So the fact that there's no hacking and hand winding and people bitch and moan about it all the time, it's really not an issue, certainly not for me. I've got watches that do hack and hand wind, and to be honest, I've got no less or any more enjoyment from them or this, so it really isn't an issue. I love the dial on it. Sometimes it looks black, sometimes it looks blue. It is a very dark blue. You've got the nice pop of colour from the Pepsi bezel. As you can see there, my day is in Italian. I've got Italian and English on mine. I think it's kind of potluck what you get. I quite like the Italian on it. I like Italy, so I actually quite like that. The dial is very clean. The bezel action on this is smooth. There's not too much back play. It's accurate. It lines up okay. Mine lines up perfectly. I've got no issues with any alignment or anything. I actually quite like wearing it there, because I think that red really sort of continues on for the red strap there, and the white matches the sort of the loom dots on the dial. I love the hands. I like the needle points on it. I like the second hand. I like the lollipop style of the second hand with the loom pip on the wrong side. I know another thing people moan about, but in the dark, obviously the second hand is 30 seconds out, but again, it's no problem. And and the loom. I mean, I'll just quickly take you indoors, but just by being in the conservatory on a very gloomy day, and it gets a little bit of light on it, so I'm just gonna pop indoors. Sorry about this, and just have a look at this when I get into a slightly darker bit. Look how that loom. We're indoors and it's light in here, it's not dark or anything, but look at that. That's the only watch that I've got that does that and has loom that good. And at night, it's, especially if you give it a bit of a charge before you go to bed, it's fantastic. So, So there you go. So as you can tell, I absolutely love this watch. It does get a lot of wrist time. As you can see here, I've got quite a few watches to choose from. These are all my kind of analog. This is my box of analog watches, and I've got some nice pieces. This kind of shares a bit of wrist time with all of these, and I really enjoy all of these watches, especially that Dan Henry compressor diver is lovely. The Bambino is lovely, but that's for dressy, obviously. I'm starting to fall in love with the old the swatch there, System 51 swatch, which I hated when I first got it, but I've actually fallen in love with that now. Just going to talk about the strap. I got this from Sectime in the UK. It's a calf skin strap, but with a kind of I don't really know what it is, but it's got like a waterproof membrane over the top, and it's kind of a grey, as you can see a pattern there. I think it really matches the watch beautifully, and it is waterproof, but it is a real chunky leather strap. I mean, and that buckle is massive. I did have to put the buckle on the buffer because it had some sharp edges just under here, which were digging in, but now it's sort of worn in a bit. I'm absolutely loving it, and it's so comfortable, so much more comfortable than the strap that come with it. I'm just going to flip it off the wrist very quickly and just have a look at, you've all seen this, we know what's on the back of this watch, but I'm just going to show you there. You know, it's a nice clean design. As you can see, it's a bit grubby. This is obviously gets worn quite a bit, this watch. But yeah, I really like that as well. Nothing too fancy, but it is it's good enough to show someone. And so there it is. I just think it's a great looking watch, and it's definitely, I've been thinking about my collection recently and what I'm going to keep, and I have got rid of a couple of watches, and I'm going to I'm thinking about going in a certain direction, but I'm working on it. But this is definitely going to be part of my long-term collection. I've got no plans to mod it. I'm happy with the crystal in it. I know it's not sapphire, but I don't have a problem with that. I'm happy with the bezel, the action. It's just, yeah, I just love it. I love the watch. Crown's really nice. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. If I was designing a watch, I think this would probably be it. So the only one that I kind of watch that I think at the moment I like as much as this is my my Dan Henry compressor diver. Two completely different sort of looking watches, but these are my two favourites at the moment. So there you go, this is my long-term update on the Seiko SKX009. This is GR VOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I'll see you soon. Bye.